I'll say two quick things. One is I think it's important to separate out the difference between an Islamist party and an Islamic party. This sounds like maybe splitting hairs, but it's actually really important because a political party or an organization can be based in Islamic values, right? But it can be democratic in nature. It can be pluralistic in nature. Jamaat-e-Islami, we've sort of focused on here, is an Islamist party. And as we saw from the words of Maulana Maududi himself, he doesn't even see Islam as a religion. He sees it as a means to gain power, and absolute power. So I think that we have to be a little bit careful when we're trying to distinguish between these parties. And then as far as the 10% electoral power, again, I think that this is something that is really important, and I think that sometimes we get a little bit too hung up on this. Well, but they can't get the votes. So do they really matter? Is this a fringe sort of thing? And the case study that I would point to again is in Pakistan. In Pakistan, Jamaat-e-Islami and Tehreek-e-Laibach Pakistan, Milli Muslim Pakistan, you have a number of very virulent Islamist theocratic parties that can't get elected. Getting elected has much more to do with being able to deliver services. It has much more to do with being able to get people into school, to get people jobs. The power from these Islamist groups comes really from the streets and from their networks of charitable organizations.
And also perhaps that from the discourse they engender in society, yes, the debate they can create.
Because it gives them legitimacy. This is why they participate in politics. They know that they're not going to become prime minister. In fact, I really believe that most of these groups, it would be losing for them to actually win, because now you're responsible for everything, right? They get more power from being in the opposition. They get legitimacy from participating in the process, even though ultimately they want to get rid of it. And they get cover in foreign capitals by saying, no, we're not a radical group. We are just a small political party.
They influence policy more than they can actually wield.
Exactly.
And we see that religiously oriented and theocratically oriented groups in other traditions also. We see that in Israel. We see that.
See it here.
Some would argue we see that here. Groups that sort of want to influence, and they don't want office for themselves.
Right.
They want to operate within the political framework. As far as the multiplication of religiously based political groups is concerned, that's a phenomenon almost everywhere. So, when I was a young boy, Jamaat-e-Islami was the one major Islamic political party, Islamic and Islamist, the only political party in Pakistan. Now there's dozens. It's the same happening in Bangladesh. I don't think that is necessarily a offshoot of any particular political decision by any particular political party or leader. But your point about Bangladesh, the concerns about authoritarian tendencies in Bangladesh and anywhere else in South Asia, I think those are shared by everybody on this panel as well. Yes, sir.